to the Realness Radio podcast, y'all. It is 420, and you know what we're talking about today?
We are talking about weeds,
Weeds,
pots,
marijuanas,
marijuanas.
all that stuff. Pretty much just that. We're talking about weed. Stories, memories, all types of stuff. It's going to be fun, and if you're a stoner, join in.
I'm for real. I'm for real.
Realer than real.
You're now tuned into the Realness Radio podcast.
I got you stuck off the realness.
The Realness.
Y'all feel me?
Y'all feel. Y'all definitely feel.
And we are live. What up, everybody? Happy 420, people.
420.
Smoke weed every day.
Yeah, smoke that shit up.
It's time, y'all. You know what time it is. Smoke that shit. Put it in the air. We thought we'd jump on and do a little 420 special with y'all. Just
Hell
talk
yeah.
about weed.
Had to.
Two guys who work in the industry, you know. We might as well have a little celebration today.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about some weed.
Yeah.
Why don't we tell some weed stories?
I would love some weed stories.
Some
I got
weed-
some good ones.
Some weed stories. So why don't we start? Let's go with first time you smoked weed.
First time I smoked weed. So I was, let's see. I think it was the summer between 7th and 8th grade. 12, 13 or so. And I was visiting my dad. I used to go visit my dad and stay like a couple weeks with him, you know, out the summer and stuff like that. And he lived on this big property, and his fiance at the time, they lived on her sister's property. They had like 7 acres. And so, you know, they also had a kid about my age. His name was Josh. And he introduced me to weed and a lot of crazy shit, to be honest with you. But yeah, it was the first time I ever smoked weed was with him. And we were outside and he's like, yo, I got this weed. Let's make something to smoke it out of. You know what I'm saying? So we put this we got some tinfoil.
Right, as you should.
Yeah, we got a pen, one of those plastic like see-through pens that I used to get from back in the day, like big pack of 15. You know what I'm saying?
Where you click the lead out.
Yeah. You just
that's
pull
my
that
shit.
bitch apart and you just have the tube.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yep.
we got the tinfoil, made a bowl, put the wire hanger through it, molded it around that thing, and then pulled it out, attached it to the pen, and there you go. We had ourselves a little pipa. So, yeah, he packs that boy up, and we're outside. We're out front of his house, and I hit it, right? And he hits it, and then I take another puff, and nothing's really happening, and then, like, he could tell I'm getting a little stoned all of a sudden. I'm feeling different. I'm feeling weird. I'm like, whoa, fuck, like, this is intense. Head rush, you know, everything's going on. And he just starts giggling. He just starts laughing. And I'm like, what? I'm like, what the fuck are you laughing at? You know, like, what's going on? What? And then all of a sudden, he starts dying laughing, like belly laughing, like, ah. And he looks at me and he's like, I laced it. And it was horrible. It was a horrible thing to do to a 12, 13-year-old
beginner
smoking weed for the first time. And my initial reaction was just rage.
Right.
There was a shovel right next to me. I picked that motherfucker up and I started running after him with the shovel. I was going to hit his ass. And he's like, I'm playing. Like, it's all good. Okay. Like, hilarious story. You know, we start laughing, bullshitting. Yeah, we end up going up in the house, and it was right around the time Tomb Raider came out, I think.
Okay.
And yeah, we got down on Tomb Raider, and next thing I know, I'm just stuck on the couch with one of them big ass grocery store gallons of ice cream.
Yep.
With the lid popped out with the handle.
Yep.
You know, the handle, and just sitting there just mowing down on ice cream, trying to get rid of the absolute worst cotton mouth I've probably ever experienced in my life.
I've been there.
Yeah.
I and my brother used to get really, really baked.
Yeah.
And we'd like go into my like pantry area and shit.
Yeah.
And me and my mom at the time was going through like this kick, so we didn't have like much chips and shit in the house.
Yeah.
So we had a gang of wheat thins.
Yeah.
So me and this dude with dry ass mouths be trying to eat wheat thins, and it's just crackers, dude. So it's your mouth. It's just dust in there, dude.
Yeah.
There's no moisture.
No.
There's no nothing. It's just straight dust.
Just turns
dude.
into a clay
It
ball.
was awful, bro. We was just eating hella wheat thins, just high, because them flavors are fire.
Yeah.
But it was too much, dude. It
Oh
was
my
too
God.
much.
Good
So
times.
the first time I smoked weed was pretty good. Pretty good. I was probably 15, you know what I mean, ish.
Yeah.
I'm with my neighborhood buddies. My neighborhood Ace Boone Coons at the time, who are still best friends of mine. We grew up together.
Oh yeah.
And we got the neighborhood squad together, and we're going to a party that kids from my high school are throwing.
Yeah.
So half of the crew went to my high school, we went to Choya, and then half of the crew went to other schools, right? So we're going to a party that's in the neighborhood thrown by some Choya kids. So we're on the other side of Cardinal Park. We're over there at the party. We're fucking smoking, or we're fucking chilling, right? We're having some drinks. We're kicking it.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember they brought out this fucking steamroller. And you remember those fucking, 3-foot steamroller? It looks like some fucking, it's just got the pipe on the end, and it's two
like a
open pipes.
Big old tube.
Big old tube with just a top on it.
Yep.
And you hold the end. Oh, man. And I remember some dude. I don't even remember who it was. I couldn't even tell you who it was at the party. It was probably one of the homeboys. I just don't remember. From school.
Mm.
It was like, hey, y'all want to hit this? And then I remember the other two boys, one of them looking at the other one going, hey, if you hit it, I'll hit it.
Yeah.
And then the other one looking at me going, if you hit it, I'll hit it. And then it started that thing, okay, if you hit it, I'll hit it. You know what I mean? So I remember we all always take a hit of this shit, right?
Yeah.
And we're fucking off we're giggling. You remember them first highs, right?
Yes.
Where everything is just the funniest
fucking thing
you've never
oh my God.
heard. Like the word sausage is just the funniest word you ever heard. Someone says the word like shoelace, and you're crying for like an hour.
Oh yeah.
And you don't know why that word is so fucking funny.
Mm-hmm.
We're there.
Yeah.
We're there. And it was off to the fucking races, man. Then we figured this out. Okay, so this is something we can do. So we would get tinfoil, right?
Yep.
Just like you said, we get the tinfoil, and we do the same thing. Except for I got a Sharpie, put it at the end.
Yeah.
You make that little funnel, then you point it, you pull it up to the top, but at the end I get it fatter on the other end.
Exactly.
To make a good bowl, right? Kind of twisted so it pinched it in, you don't suck nothing through. And we'd sit there, and we had a street that's a cul-de-sac, but then it was another straight street to get onto the cul-de-sac. We'd hang out right in the middle of that shit, which is reckless because any car can come by. And we would just smoke. We just smoke and sit there and laugh. And I would go home and I would watch. This was going to be my next question: is your high movie? And at the time for me, it was How High.
How High?
That was my high movie.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So we'd go out there, we'd smoke, then we'd peace out or whatever it was. Then we'd go home, and I remember I downloaded that shit and I had it on my computer. You know what I mean?
Got that
back
LimeWire movie.
Yeah, that back in the day shit where it was only on the computer.
Yeah.
So I remember I'd pop that bitch in and I would watch it on repeat. Like I probably watched it like 9 times in a row every day.
How High was like our fucking Cheech and Chong.
That was the movie.
It was.
Dude.
It was
that
great.
Was the
I
movie.
watched it endlessly. It was amazing.
It had some of the best lines in it. It had, it had some of the greatest everything.
Got blunts. Got weed.
Oh man, and it's like when the dude was yelling at the girl and he's like, "I'm gonna take you off my buddy list, bitch."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, oh man, it was so many good lines when he's outside and he's like, "I'm a ghost, ghost."
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
He walks into the car.
He walks into the car. You know what I mean?
My favorite shit is when he's eating Cheetos in
Oh,
Dean's
duh.
office, and he's like, "That is an 18th century tapestry," and he's like,
He said, "I
"You
got
talking
on
about
my
this rug?
He said,
I know the bitch that make these rugs."
He said, "This is an 18th century tapestry that I got on my trips to Nepal."
Yeah.
He said, "This rug? I know the bitch that make these rugs. You know Juanita.
You remember Juanita and them?
You remember Juanita?
Yeah.
Oh, that's one
I
of my
remember that bitch.
favorite. And then later on, they get him high as fuck, and he looks at his he's uptight, and he looks at his wife, and he says, "Hold this, I got the munchies like a motherfucker." Oh, dude, it was just how that was you couldn't tell me nothing about that movie. And as the day this is coming out on 420, we're gonna get the 420 verses of Redman.
Oh, dude,
and
I can't
Method
believe it, dude. That's such a good one.
It's such a good one.
Yeah.
And it's so apropos for how high to have this on that
so
day.
So high that I can kiss the sky.
Yes. And you know what's funny, too, is that movie brought the rock band Rammstein, to hip-hop cultures. Du hast.
Yeah.
Du hast mich.
When he's got the blunt in front of his face.
He's bringing it back in his face.
Wakes him up. Yeah.
Yep. That's one of my favorite fucking scenes ever, dude. You know what I mean? Yep. Of course, you got the scenes where it's like, that shit on your lip got some shit on his lip. You know what I mean? You have all those scenes where it's like, why you no pasta Dutchie? You know what I mean? The little Asian dude is like vomiting and it's like throwing up, but it's fake.
Buy us, fuck you.
Yeah. Buy us, fuck you. Like, oh, bro, that was my movie.
Yeah, that was the movie.
And I would just get so baked and just watch that fucking movie. It was that
one and Half Baked.
Half Baked has definitely always got to be on the list,
but it's funny because
butter stuff.
It's funny because they always do the Macgyver Stoner. You know what I'm saying? And we all started off as Macgyver Stoners.
Every one of us.
That's why it hits so hard because we making them tinfoil.
Every
pipes.
One of us.
Like I could tell you right now, some of the dopest pieces I ever concocted out of one time I had this blowgun. Right, I bought it from the swap meet. A blowgun. Right, got a Play-Doh canister. Cut a hole in it, connected it to the end of the blowgun, so I have this big chamber, right?
Right.
And then I drop a tinfoil bowl on the top of that thing, and I called it the peace pipe. And it was amazing. It was dope.
See, the MacGyver of our group was my brother. That motherfucker, dude, we can be like, hey, man, we need to smoke out of something. He'd be like, look around and be like, oh, I got something. Don't worry. He'd make it happen.
Oh, yeah.
That dude, Duck, I give you credit, bro. You are the MacGyver of making shit out of nothing. You know what I mean? And getting us to smoke. You know what I mean? My move, I was the apple guy.
The apple?
I was the apple guy.
Okay.
You get that fresh apple, you crack it open, green apple. I go to the store just to get an apple. Get that green apple. I get a spoon.
Yeah.
Make the hole. Get a pencil or a pen. Come in from that edge. Light that motherfucker up. Be high as shit and then take a bite. Just don't bite the fucking
the core.
The core. Don't bite the hole where you smoked out of it. Yeah. It's gross.
Yep.
I've done it and it's not worth it.
Oh yeah.
I've done it and trust me, it is not worth it.
It's funny too that you say the words that just become hilarious.
Right.
It could be a silly ass word, and I remember me and my boy Jesse, we were smoking in my room one time, and for some reason we always ended up congregating in the kitchen.
Right.
Because we're getting some munchies and shit, and I think it was wintertime. It was around Christmas. It was a holiday season, so I had some tamales.
Yo,
and we go up in the kitchen. I'm breaking out some tamales, and we start opening these bitches up, start eating, and I can't remember if it was me or him, but we couldn't figure out what it was called. The
like the masa?
No, not the masa. The
actual
husk,
shuck.
The shuck that you wrap it in.
Yeah, the corn.
And we just
husk.
What is this called? We just kept calling it a busk. Was this a busk? And then we just fucking died for hours over busks.
And it stayed.
And that's all we've ever called it since then is fucking busks.
See, ours was it's me and the homeboy John, and in the movie How High, there's Pinky, and then his assistant says, Pinky, if it wasn't for you, I'd had that nail nada bitch. And he said, that nail nada.
had a nail nada.
He said, nail nada. Yeah. And then there's this point where he says, not nail nada. But he rolls it, and he goes, that nail nada, narari.
Yeah.
And we couldn't get that we couldn't get that portion out of our head. So we would walk around and just be like, narari. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Same.
We couldn't. It was just
nada had a nail nada coming to my life.
If it wasn't for you, Pinky, I had not that nail nada. That was one of the and then he's like, look at you, hey, itty bitty bitch, itty bitty bitch. I still say that to this day. I still walk around going, hey, itty bitty bitch.
I've heard you say it recently for sure.
Itty bitty bitty bitch. Oh, it's just one of those quotes I never got out of my language.
I come from a long line of pimps, and you come from a long line of assistant pimps.
Mike Epps, I mean, he did that role. He did that role.
Funny.
He played that part, and that was that movie though. It had, I mean, look at that. We've just listed so many iconic parts.
Oh yeah,
and we still haven't been to row, stroke,
smoke,
stroke, smoke, stroke. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or pork chops and chunky.
Pork chops and chunky.
Pork chops and chunky. How can you not have pork chops and chunky?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I feel like for me, that movie had more iconic moments for me than Half Baked did. Even though Half Baked had its moments,
absolutely. It's definitely higher on my list than.
But
Half
on my
Baked
list,
for sure.
How High had the. I mean, I couldn't get enough of Red and Meth. Like you could make 20 more of those movies, and I will watch all of them.
Yep.
Because of just the characters of those two dudes going through college with these uptight ass people. And they're just so ghetto.
When he walks into the class and Dean's teaching the class, and he's like, "Get him, Don Cornelius with a haircut."
Oh, that's one of my favorite parts, dude.
Oh God,
and that was another
hilarious.
thing that we quoted forever.
Yeah, get him.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, oh, it was so good. That was one of those movies. And then my next movie was Pootie Tang.
Pootie Tang.
My brother loved Pootie Tang.
Sadate.
And he was all about it.
Yeah.
Sadate on the tippy towel. And I thought it was really good. It was a funny ass movie. The belt thing. I think it's because my brother's dad looks like Pootie Tang.
Does he?
So I mean, his dad looked like Pootie Tang. Yeah. He's like with the smoothest brother, bro. Yeah. The smoothest brother. He's the most awesomest dude. And we would always joke that that was his dad, just whooping niggas in action. You know what I mean? My other one was Undercover Brother.
Undercover Brother.
Undercover Brother.
Oh, that's with Eddie Griffin,
yep,
right?
And
the other boy, I forget his name.
A bunch of people are in it. Doogie
the 7 Up
Howser's
dude,
in
isn't the 7 Up dude in there?
Chappelle's in that.
Chappelle, yeah.
Because he plays Conspiracy Brother.
Snoop's in it, isn't he?
I don't.
Maybe
remember
I'm thinking of a
that
different
one.
movie.
You might be thinking it was something different. That was Undercover Brother was like an 80s,
spoof.
No, like a 70s spoof on like an action comedy. You know what I mean? Where he had these like platform shoes that were like elevators that would lift him up, and like his afro and shit was like his parachute. You know what I mean? It was just, or it was his bell bottoms or his parachute. You know what I mean? They just opened up, and it was just a ridiculous ass movie that Eddie Griffin did at that time.
He was so good. He's still one of my favorites.
Oh, he was an incredible. He was an incredible comic. He's a fucking incredible actor. Did hilarious shit.
Oh my God.
Just around that time, that was one of those things that I could not stop watching. Could not. I needed more of that.
Yes.
And it's funny because the other day I was telling stories about times where you were just like, oh my God, a little too high.
Mm-hmm.
And I had this instance where we were at the homegirl's house, and she used to have a trailer on the side that used to be their own home. So it was like a full like house where their parents got a new one.
Yeah.
So we just basically had a whole like house as our clubhouse. Had a pool table, all that shit.
That's dope.
And I remember we were going there, and this was during high school, and I was in choir.
Yeah.
And we had a choir car wash to try to raise money, right? And so I got all the homies and shit, and we went back to the homegirl's house. So we was getting high at this bitch. We was like, fuck this.
Yeah.
We're going to smoke some of this weed, and we'll come back. And we got the apples. We went to the store. We did the whole 9. And I remember we got back to the homegirl's house, and we smoked the same weed out of the homeboy's bong. And I remember I was so fucking high, bro, that they were listening to techno, like old techno. This is before I had got into EDM or any of that kind of thing. Yeah. And they're listening to old techno, bro. And I remember that it was my heart was going at the same beat. It was like doom, 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 doom. And my heart was going at the same beat. And I was like, uh-oh, I don't like this shit. Yeah. And then I remember my depth perception was off. Like everything that was supposed to be far away, it all seemed like it was on the same playing field. And I just couldn't. I was way too high to go outside. I was like, nah, nigga. Oh, yeah. I don't know what you did to this bong. It's the same weed, but nah, nigga.
I remember
Before you do that.
Yeah.
Let's take a break.
Okay.
All right. What up, y'all? Let me tell you about another product I really like. This new thing I just found called Tappy. If you're an artist, if you're a business person, if you're anybody with anything that you want to share with people, maybe you're a designer, get this. It's a new business card. It's electronic. No paper, no thousands of cards in your pocket, just one. Anytime anybody asks, hey, what do you do, man? Pull it out, tap it on their phone. All the information's right there. Tappy. Go to our website at therealnessradiopodcast.com. Go all the way to the bottom and look at Tappy. Press get one, and you can order yours right now. Trust me, it's something you're interested in. Tappy. And we're back from the break. It's just that easy.
Hell yeah.
Tell that story.
But yeah, so I went to go get my driver's permit. 15 and a half, go get my learner's permit. The day of, got off of the school bus and didn't get off on my school bus, got off at the homie school bus stop. And we all went into the buddy Ben's little shed in the back of his house. And there you go. We had an Apple.
Yep.
And we were just hot boxing that bitch up like heavy, right? 2 hours later, I'm supposed to be going to get my learner's permit, right?
Right.
And we're smoking. I remember my buddy Matt hits out of this Apple, and like he just had that yuck face, like like that cough where it's just like, oh, like that was too much. Oh my God, we died laughing so hard. But I remember walking home. Don't really remember getting home.
Right.
Falling over on the side of the couch, passing out, and my mom like showing up maybe 20, 30 minutes later, like, all right, you ready? Let's go. And I'm like, hey, yeah, like still blazed out of my mind. Needless to say, I totally failed that test.
I was going to say, did you pass?
No, I totally failed that test, so I didn't get it that day, which was unfortunate, but it was so much fun.
Oh, we all have those moments. You know, the fun thing that we did when we were little, or it's not little because we weren't little, but when we were younger and we were, getting into the weed, is you try all this shit out, right? So I remember in the neighborhood we made this gnarly gravity bong.
Yes.
So we got this fucking bucket, dude, and put some ice cold water in that bitch, and then we got not the 2 liters, but the old 3 liters with the big mouth. Yeah, with the wide mouth, dude. We got that shit, and I remember they fucking put a bunch, and this is back in the day, so y'all, we were smoking fucking straight Reginald, okay? It's just straight fucking Reggie.
Weed.
All day. But it was the bomb shit. We had connects, so it was the bomb shit, but it was the old shit.
Hear them seeds popping and shit?
Nah, nigga, clean my shit out. We ain't doing that. We're not doing that.
You might forget 1 or 2 sometime.
Yeah, every once in a while, but so I remember we had put it, you put it deep in the water and then you just pull it up. But I mean, for people who don't really do that, if you pull it up quickly, you'll get a smaller hit. But if you pull it up slowly, you're consistently burning that shit.
Saturated.
So you're saturating it. So they pulled it up slow as fuck. Slow. And they're just getting it up there, dude. And they give it to the homeboy Bobby, and I don't remember exactly I don't know if this part's true or not, but I'm going to tell it as it is. I remember that he went to take the hit, and I feel like somebody pushed the back of his head, which like shoves all that in there. Yeah. But I remember he took the whole thing, and it was like when they were pulling it up, it was so slow that it was like one of those that had turned yellow and shit. You're just like, fuck, dude, that's going to be a ripper.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, he fucking takes that shit. They slam his head down to it, dude, or he fucking takes that shit. He's coughing like a motherfucker. And then, like a movie, skip to 30 minutes later. We were across the street. This is like a regular neighborhood. It's like a barely a 2-car street.
Yeah.
We're across the street now at my house, sitting in the front yard because I had lawn chairs.
Yeah.
So just like to sit in, we're just kicking it, all blown and shit. The homeboys are fucking with him. He's sitting in the lawn chair by himself, just in the middle. And they start surrounding him. So now we're having a circle conversation around him. And then they start rotating and touching him on the shoulder constantly like this. Just tapping on his shoulder like, doot, doot, doot. And he's just looking at me going, Shrek, help, help. And they wouldn't stop. They're just tapping him on the shoulder. And I'm just laughing because it's my homies, dog. What am I going to do? There's nothing I can do. You're in this situation. But I remember boy was way too high off those gravity bongs. But those will get you.
No, they'll get you because my cousin one time in his bathtub, we did a gravity bong. Same thing. We got the 3 liter because the 3 liter was the most effective. Way to do it. Yeah, you had to do it. But we filled the bathtub up, and he does the first gravity bong, right? Not saying anything. He got the toke hold in. He's like pointing, do it again. Fill her up. You know what I'm saying?
Let her go.
We're like, all right, let's do this shit. He's going to do a double fucking gravity bong. Okay, this fool's a badass. So there we go, filling it up again. Did it pretty quick. He takes the second one, pops up, very like disoriented look in his eyes. And I was like, whoa. And he's like stumbling out of the bathroom. Right. Turns right around the corner into his room, immediately passes out.
Oh, shit.
Hits his head on his desk. Bah! Flips over. Smoke's coming out of his mouth. And he's like full on seizing. And that was fucking scary. That was,
Jesus
was totally
Christ.
scary. But it was thinking back now, it's so fucking funny. But
he had no oxygen left, bro.
Oh my God, dude. Yeah, he had no oxygen going to the brain at all.
That is crazy. No. That is crazy. I think probably one of the funnier ones was, this is later on. We're at that same girl's house, right? And this has got to be like 2-3 years, like a year, maybe 2 years later. We're at that same girl's house, and it's like Halloween. We're all smoking. Again, this is before, like, our normal standards of what we have now of weed was out, right? Mm-hmm. So this is, again, just Reggie. So at the time, the homeboy's mom grew her own dro. Mm-hmm. So it was like, you remember when someone had some dro, it was like, oh, my God, right? So the homeboy gets some of his mom's dro. He brings it over. We're smoking. We got a couple of extra people at the crib, because it's Halloween and shit. We're all blowing trees. We got the homegirl in there, and this bitch has never smoked weed before, right? So she's smoking with us, getting blown. I know I'm high, and me and you are going, man, I'm high as fuck. And you're like, I'm high as fuck, and she's like, I'm not feeling nothing. And we're like, oh yeah, are you sure? Yeah. All right. So she's fucking smoking, and I swear to God, again, cut to movie mode. Cut 10 minutes later, she runs into a wall, like a real movie, but this is real life. She runs into a wall, thinking she can go through it, and we're like, oh yeah. You're not? Are you sure you're not high?
Yeah.
Are you sure? Because you can't go through walls. Like, she smacked that bitch and fell.
Did she leave an indent or leave some makeup on the wall? Or
she just hit that bitch hard and fell back. And then still, like 10 years later, I still give her shit about it. I was like, you remember when you hit that wall?
Yep.
You remember when you did that?
Oh, you can't let it down.
You remember when you thought you weren't that high? Yeah. And you smacked that shit? Oh, yeah, motherfucker. I mean, we all have some good times when we're high.
So freaking lootly.
You know what I mean? Ain't nothing like it. Today is that day is to celebrate the joy and the goodness of the marijuanas.
Yeah, put it in the air. And it's been a long time coming, too.
Long time.
Like
long time.
I don't even when at those times when we were young like that, I don't think we ever thought we would see this day.
Never.
I think we maybe like fantasized about it, but
it was more like science fiction. It was more of a fantasy. Yeah, if you would have went back,
if this shit was just legal.
Yeah, if you went back and told 15-year-old you, 15-year-old me that we were going to be working in the industry for years, and especially on the verge of going medical and then going recreational, being here in those pivotal moments.
Yeah,
I would have been like, you're fucking out of your mind. That's never going to happen. That's not real. Like, weed's never going to be legal. And here we are.
Yeah. I'm surprised I didn't get into it earlier. Like, it was almost like an epiphany one day. Right. Like, I realized, I'm like, dude, we have, like, medical marijuana dispensaries. Why am I not trying to get up in this bitch?
Well, that was kind of how it kind of came to me, too. A buddy was like, do you want to do it? And I'm like, how am I not? Like, how am I not already in this industry? You know what I mean? It's something I've been around.
Yeah. I got super lucky, too. Like, I literally put one application in, got a call back, like, within the day or two.
You lucked out.
And got the interview and got the job. And I was just like, wow, that was way too fucking easy.
That doesn't happen at all.
Yeah, it was really weird. But I'm glad I did. I fucking met some of the dopest people I've ever met. You know what I'm saying? Here we are.
We have a pod because of it.
And and how did this pod come out of it? You know what I'm saying? We was chilling on the stoop on those fucking Monday morning breaks, bullshitting, smoking weed.
And here we are.
And here we are
having the pod. So it all comes full circle. Happy 420, guys.
Happy fucking 420.
Thank you for joining us. As usual, if you like what we're doing, like, comment, subscribe, share, tell your friends, join in the conversation. Don't forget you can find me on Instagram at Superior Shrek.
You can also find me at Prolific Pappy on IG.
Man, and we're so happy that you guys join us from week to week. Put them in the air. Happy 420.
Bump that music.
And you know what time it is. Good night, everybody.
See ya.
Peace. Or good day. Peace.